This segment is about adding pictures to slides. We'll be going over adding pictures, aligning objects, object layering, and how to change icon and shape colors. So we will start by inserting a picture. So you go to Insert and then Picture, and then you can choose whatever picture you may like and move it to the position that you like. So we now have a picture here, and so that's all that you would need to do to insert a picture. The other option is to insert a picture through a directory, which can also be done, but it will perform a bit differently. So in this particular situation, if you were to do that, for example, if we wanted to drag in an image, if we were to drag it in, notice it will take up the full slide proportionally. So it maxed out the height, which made the width a bit short to keep it proportional. So those are the two different ways in which to bring in images. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, that the different insertions will provide a different result when it comes to adding pictures into a non-icon area. Now, if we were to do it into an icon area, the result would be a bit different. If we were to drag that in there, it would be constrained to the area in which we had allotted, and that's all that it would do. So it would just condense it down proportionally. So that is the difference between the two. Now we will be getting back to this area, and we will use this slide. Now, if we wanted to make changes to this image, for example, if we wanted to change the coloring of it, to change the coloring of an image, it is quite easy. You simply double click, and then you will see your color option available. So you can choose any one of the predefined colors. I'll actually move this over here so it'll be easier to view. So you'll see that there are various options here, and if we hover over, we will see how they perform. So we can also do this, and it just changes the background a bit. We also have the ability to remove the white background in this case. This will work in some situations, it will not work in others, depending on the pixelation, etc. But it may be something that will help you out if you had a gradient background on your slide, but you had a white background or other color on your image background. Then if you need to reset, you can simply go to this area and choose Reset Picture. You also have the option to reset picture and size, which would bring it back to its original size that it was developed in. So that is how you would work with your pictures. Next, we will be going over aligning objects. So in this situation, you'll see that we have a large amount of images, but they're kind of difficult to manage. So for example, if we wanted all of row 1, row 2, and row 3 to line up on top of each other, the way that we would need to do that is to select your images and then go to Group, and then just group the items. And then we can do that here as well. So we'll just group our items, and then come over here and we can group our items. Now that we have all three areas grouped, we can easily align them. So we will just marquee or just left click and drag around the whole group, and then we can choose how we want to work with them. Do we want to align them? If we do, how do we want to align them? Do we want to align them top, in which case they are over each other? In this case, I think the most appropriate would be to align left, center, or right. So we'll just align center. Now that we have them all aligned, we can see that they are performing the way that we want. There are other ways in which you may want to work with your images. For example, you may want these to be expanded the full width proportionally. So in that case, you would bring the first item to the left edge, the second item should go to the right edge, then you would just select them all, choose Align, and we will justify or distribute horizontally. Now you'll see that they are perfectly proportioned across your page. If you decided that that is no longer what you want and you want it to be tighter, then you can do something like this. Select all, align, and distribute horizontally, and they will tighten up. So that is how that would function. Another thing that you may need to know is how to layer. So what we are going to do is we'll just select this group and we'll just quickly change the color so that you can see the layering a bit better. So we'll make this layer green. Now if we wanted the layers, if we wanted them on top of each other, then we would align to middle in this case. When we do that, we'll see that the layers are on top of each other. At this point, we would just go to Format Selection pane, and at the selection pane, we would see that there is this group, group 31, and then we have group 32. At this point, it is quite difficult to understand which one is on top, but the easiest way to move them around would be to grab one or the other group and simply move the position. So we have this group, and we can simply arrow down, and our grouping should change. But of course, for whatever reason, that is not working at the moment. Here we go. So now we can choose up or down, and sometimes it will be a little glitchy, so it's just something that we kind of have to deal with. But once we have this group or this group, then you can simply up or down, and that will change your various layers. There are some situations where you have multiple layers, and in that situation I would recommend that you number items like level 1, level 2, level 3, so that if you need to move them around, you know what level you need to access. If you're just not sure, you can always just hold down your shift key, drag one to the other, and then you can manually drag the other one on top, which would create the same effect of changing the various layers. So we have group 31 on top, group 32, and so that's all you would need to do, and then you can align it in that fashion. So either way, you can have them aligned in the way that is best for your needs. And so that is it for adding pictures, aligning objects, and object layering. Now, the way that you would change an icon and shape color is to simply select it. So what we are going to do is we'll just insert a generic shape. So we'll just choose just a square. Now, right now you have no default, so it is just white at this point, but you can choose whatever you like. You can choose from your fill list. You can also choose from your outline list. Again, the first row would be the most preferred. You can also go through these, so we have various options here, and we can do it that way. If there's something that you want to be the default because you'll be using it repeatedly, simply right-click, set as default shape. Now, when you insert a new shape in the future, regardless of what that shape is, it will always keep the properties of this one. That would include properties as far as text as well. So in this particular situation, if we have determined that this text size is too large, we can simply reduce it. So we would just select it, reduce it to the size that we want, and then we could set that as the default. If we then insert a new shape, whatever that shape may be, it will automatically have all of the properties that we need. So if that is something that would be useful to you, great. If not, just something to have available to you. So that is how you would change the shape and icon colors. For the icon colors, you can do them individually. So we can come here and you can choose something individually, or if you select the entire grouping, then it will change the whole group at one time. So those are options that you do have, and you can just use whatever you feel is best for your needs. And then these would just be for filling in backgrounds if you were to need any backgrounds on images. So that concludes our adding pictures to slides segment. Next, we will be going over adding content to slides. Thank you.